Hello everyone, today we want to give you a series of reasons why you should choose our universal Leo3 WI case. And the first of these reasons is definitely direct support, meaning direct assistance to all customers, both in the initial selection phase. So which camera, which lens, and what is the best configuration based on each customer, every single customer. So the customer can contact the company directly, and we, based on their needs, will try to guide them using our 25 years of experience. Another very important reason is definitely the warranty. This case has been on the market for over 10 years and is the only case in the world with a lifetime warranty for standard operation at 150 meters. Another reason is certainly its sturdiness and solidity. It is a case made entirely from a solid block of aluminum, so it's completely milled from a single piece. And thanks to this manufacturing process, we have been able to further lighten the case itself, while still maintaining quality standards and thus being able to offer an operational guarantee of 150 meters depth. Another definitely important point is the practicality of managing the controls. So this case allows you to insert inside it over a couple hundred models of mirrorless and SLR cameras from different brands and types. So the big advantage is precisely that it's a case which, through USB, infrared, or Wi-Fi controls, allows you to communicate directly with the cameras and have all the main controls right at your fingertips on the ergonomic grip. The grip of the Leo3 WI is extremely ergonomic. On the front, it has 2 magnetic buttons, and on the back, it has 9 more. This really gives us access to a huge number of features. Additionally, by using the switch button, you can double the available controls. On our website, we clearly have a list of PDFs that, depending on the camera model, list all the functions we can access. But I assure you that with 11 magnetic buttons that can be doubled, the functionalities are truly numerous and the accessible functions are really many. And another great advantage of this technology is the wet contact. It's a technology that Easydive has been using for over 20 years, which guarantees us maximum equipment efficiency, meaning there are no O-rings, so there are no water leaks in the buttons, and when we use the pressure control, whether we're at 5 meters or 150 meters deep, the control will always be functional and operational. Another major advantage is definitely the power supply. Well, today these new mirrorless cameras have a rather significant issue with the battery, meaning that after about an hour the battery needs to be replaced. The Leo3 WI already comes standard with a battery that powers the housing since it's electronic. This battery is rechargeable and has a minimum standard autonomy of 14 hours. But with many camera models, especially Sony, it is possible, through a menu option on Sony cameras, to activate power supply to the camera via the USB port. This way, the camera will automatically draw power from the housing, ensuring at least 5 hours of autonomy for both the housing and the camera. This is truly a great advantage because it allows us to avoid having to open our housing, sometimes even in less than ideal conditions, in order to replace the battery in our camera. With the Leo3 WI, these cameras can therefore have an autonomy of about 5 hours, allowing us to do very long dives, or in any case to do 2 dives without having to reopen the housing to change the battery. Each Leo3 WI housing comes standard with an adapter base. This is already included at the time of purchase, so the user, before buying, will need to select the exact camera model they own, and together with the housing, they will be provided with the centering base. This centering base is dedicated to each individual camera, so every camera model has its own specific dedicated base and its own recognition software. In the base, in addition to the screw for securing the camera body, there are also the communication cables and the slot for the flash contact. And so this base allows us to make the housing universal. So if one day we decide to change our camera, all we have to do is simply go to our website, order the new upgrade base by pre-selecting the specific new camera model, and Easydive will then send you both the physical base and, conveniently via email, the new firmware update. Simply by using the programming kit as an accessory, we will download the software via the email that Easydive will have sent you, copy it onto the USB stick. As you can see, this is our housings block. So we will copy it onto our USB stick, insert the USB stick into the adapter, put everything into the housing, and simply by turning on the housing, you will hear 2 beeps. Everything is clearly explained in the instruction manual on our website, and the housing will then support the new camera. The big advantage is that this camera will be supported. So what does that mean? It means that the housing will automatically recognize the camera we insert without needing any further updates. In this specific case here, we have our Sony Alpha 1 Mark II, and here we have a Canon R8. So even with completely different brands and models, the Leo3WI housing will automatically recognize if we insert the Sony, that it's a Sony, and will display the Sony controls on the control panel and grip. If, on the other hand, we insert the mount with the Canon R8, the Leo3WI will automatically recognize that it's the Canon R8 and will display all the controls on the grip using the Canon R8's controls. This is truly a huge plus. It's a technology we've been using for over 15 years now, and I would say it's the best that any diver and photographer can have today. The Leo3WI housing, like all Easydive housings, also features a water alarm inside. That is, yes, there is a dual water alarm system that is both audible and visual. So if there's a leak, both an audible buzzer will go off and all the LEDs at the base will light up to alert us that there's water infiltration. This is the standard alarm that's included in the housing. Clearly, we're talking about a housing that, as we've said, is guaranteed for life up to 150 meters. So it's definitely the most reliable housing in the world, meaning it's the one with the least water ingress in the world. The Leo3WI housing, like all Easydive housings, features a double O-ring seal on the back closure. Not just a single face O-ring, but actually a radial O-ring and a face O-ring on the back. As we mentioned earlier, the control panel with all the buttons has no water ingress points, so water may get inside the buttons themselves, but it will never enter the housing. It's impossible, because there are no access points or water pathways. So the only possible water entry points are really limited to the two O-rings on the back and the O-ring on the port, which is a conical O-ring and a radial O-ring. And it's very unlikely that these will cause any issues, as long as you perform the basic checks that you should always do with any equipment before going into the sea. With the Leo3WI housing, as with all Easydive housings, you can add a whole range of accessories, which you can of course find both in the configurator and on our website. Now I'll show you a few of them. Regarding safety and checks, we have the vacuum system. The vacuum is simply an accessory used to perform a pre-check, meaning that, as we mentioned, the water alarm systems are already built into the housing. This is used to verify, before going into the water, that the housing is perfectly watertight. In other words, you create a vacuum and there's an LED that will indicate when a pressure of minus 0.3 bar is reached, showing that the housing is closed, sealed, and under vacuum. After about 3 minutes, if the LED keeps flashing green, it means everything is fine and you can go diving. At this point, you turn off the vacuum, let air back in, and you can dive safely and with complete peace of mind. Another accessory is the Nikonos connector, which we no longer include as standard, but only upon request, since many of these housings are used by video makers who don't use this connector. So in order not to increase the initial cost of the housing, we've decided to offer these accessories as optional. Of course, it can be equipped with either the 5-pin Nikonos version or the S6 connector, always upon request, as well as the option for a video output for a monitor or a monitor like this one. This is the case for an underwater monitor, and clearly this housing is already set up for it. As for the connectors for the flashes, we can have them with the two balls fixed, or as in this case, the phenolic ones, which allow us to attach the arms that go to our lights or flashes. The mount for possibly attaching a pilot light or a GoPro, which can be installed on top of the housing. Let's say there is a whole range of accessories, flashes, and lights that you can then find on our e-commerce site. Another reason, and certainly one of the most important, is definitely the after-sales support. Easydive has made this its flagship, our strong point. For us, the real difference today is above all in after-sales service, meaning that when a customer needs help, that's when you truly see the difference between companies. We strive to give our best, and every user who owns a Leo3WI or any Easydive housing has a dedicated profile on our website with all the latest software versions available, clearly downloadable for free, as well as the various updates for the equipment they have purchased. The maintenance reminder is sent automatically, and this is because we want every customer to feel confident before going into the water that their housing has been serviced and is always in perfect condition, just like when they bought it. So Easydive takes care of all of this, covering every aspect, 360 degrees. In many cases, we also offer the option to arrange pickup. We will come and collect the package ourselves using the dedicated packaging we provided with the equipment directly from the customer's home. And after a few weeks, we will send it back to the customer. So our after-sales service is definitely our flagship, something we really pride ourselves on because we consider it very important. So keep this in mind. This is another reason to purchase a Leo3WI. Now we're going to show you specifically how the Leo3WI works with the new Sony Alpha 1 Mark II inside, but more or less the operation is the same for all cameras. Inside, as you can see, we have a battery that powers the housing, but in this case through the USB connector, it also powers the camera. So we have a guaranteed battery life of at least 5 hours. And from the outside, we have the on-off button So let's turn on the housing and the camera will turn on as well. This housing is one of the most fully equipped ones. Inside, as you can see, we also have a converter for the external monitor, and this is the light we've powered for the converter. In addition to the converter, we have the trigger to fire the lights via fiber optic. Now the flashing green LED indicates that the housing is connected and functioning correctly. Every time we press a magnetic button, in this case aperture plus, the LED will become steady and will quickly transmit the data. So we have aperture plus, aperture minus, and shutter speed minus or shutter speed plus. Here, of course, we have the rack, so recording starts and we stop the recording. Here, obviously, we can change the ISO, so increase the ISO or decrease the ISO. We can clearly use the front buttons to press autofocus or take photos, and then we can access all the advanced functions of the camera via the switch when the blue LED lights up. So, as mentioned earlier, these functions naturally change depending on the type of camera installed inside. On the website, you can find all the various features. To turn off the case, we hold down 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and basically both the camera and the case turn off. This is how it works specifically for the Sony Alpha 1, but more or less the operation is basically the same for all Sony cameras. For other cameras, you can find all the tutorials on the website. This is our Easydive monitor. Of course, there's a protective film. Inside, I have placed a 5.5-inch monitor. So with the mechanical control here, we will turn on the monitor. It's an external button like this. SDI, it will connect via SDI. Let's turn on the housing, and clearly through this very reliable connector, because here we're talking about an SDI connector, SDI connection, so 2 pins, we can easily connect our monitor and have maximum reliability. The robust case features a double sealing O-ring, ensuring a secure and reliable closure. So here we will quickly and efficiently close it, thereby guaranteeing its integrity and performance. We can meticulously adjust our monitor based on our current viewing position, considering whether we desire to see both monitors simultaneously, thus mirroring the display, or if we prefer to retain only the monitor connected to the primary camera for a focused view. So inside, there is a converter included in the price of the monitor, which converts the HDMI signal through this flat cable and the SDI. In this way, the connector inside the housing is watertight, so we won't have any water leaks. Even if we accidentally close the monitor incorrectly, we might have a problem with the monitor, but we'll never have issues inside the housing. This is because it's not an HDMI connector, but an SDI connector, which guarantees us excellent resolution and, in any case, maximum reliability. As for the ports, we have a whole range of ports made of glass and plexiglass. The really big and significant advantage is that we have this very robust and secure locking mechanism that specifically allows us to smoothly rotate and thus carefully remove the main port, and we can then quickly and efficiently install it again by precisely aligning the small white dot with the other corresponding white dot, then gently insert the port and finally securely lock it firmly in place. This is another added safety feature that we have on all Leo3 housings, and on the website you can find the entire range of ports and even a port configurator that, by entering your lens and selecting your housing and your camera, will tell you the correct combination to use for going underwater with your housing and your lens. So we've given you a number of reasons to choose the Leo3. If you still have any doubts, don't hesitate to write to us or contact us via WhatsApp or email. Please note, many military organizations, universities, research centers, and anyone who works with underwater equipment have already chosen Easydive and rely exclusively on Easydive. So this is another very important reason. The housing will support you over time, so it's not just an investment for today, but for the long term. This Leo3, which was launched in 2015 and originally housed the Sony Alpha 7 and 1, can now, as you can see, accommodate the new Alpha 1 Mark II. So 10 years have passed, but the Leo3 is still the same. So it's an investment for today, but also for the future, for the years to come. It's definitely a product that keeps up with the times, especially now that we're talking so much about respecting the environment and our oceans. Buying plastic housings that constantly change, because as you know, the evolution of cameras is very fast, means we often have to change our equipment as well, which generates waste. This housing also has a very important ethical concept, that of respecting the oceans, because it's a product designed to be long-lasting, durable, and reliable. Above all, as I explained earlier, you have pre- and post-sale support, and it will continue to assist you step by step in the future with new cameras. So what else can I tell you? Choose the Leo3 Wii or any Easydive universal housing, and if you have any questions, don't hesitate to contact us. Goodbye, everyone.